There are some deeply troubling reports in early Islamic history. One of them concerns Umar, the second caliph of Islam, sitting with Muhammad's own granddaughter, a girl who is around 10 years old. Then, according to early Islamic reports, he puts his hand on her leg. She pulls back, says in anger, "If you weren't caliph, I would break your nose." And that's not something I'm exaggerating at all. I'm just reading Islamic sources. When it comes to Islam, no one needs to exaggerate anything because it's so much messed up. Really, like by itself, it destroys itself. So here's the question. If this story is true, what does it tell us about Umar, the man Muslims call the rightly guided caliph, who wasn't just a ruler, but he is also Muhammad's own father-in-law, crossing boundaries and violating Muhammad's granddaughter. So here's how the narration goes. Umar asked Ali if she could marry Ali's daughter. Umar is the father-in-law of Muhammad. Ali is the son-in-law of Muhammad. So by default, Ali's daughter is Muhammad's granddaughter, okay? Umar asked Ali if he could marry Ali's daughter. Ali said, she is too young, but insists, and then she goes and then sees Umar. In that, Umar places his hand on her leg or some part of her body, according to this report. Then she said to him, "You behave like this. If you were not the commander of the believers, I would break your nose." Then she left and returned to her father, telling him what happened. She said, "You sent me to bad old man." He replied, "Is there, my little daughter? He is your husband." And Islamic tradition also reports that Umar paid 40,000 dirhams for her. Another report tells us Umar exposed her legs and she said, "Let go. If you were not the prince of the believers, I would struck your eyes." Or in another narration, "I would have slapped your eyes." So here in summary what we have, Umar in his 50s asks to marry Muhammad's granddaughter. She is only 10 years old at that stage, okay? Ali resists at the first and then eventually he sends his daughter. Then when this young child goes to Umar, Umar puts his hand on her leg or some other parts of her body. You can kind of try to imagine. Don't imagine, that's disgusting. What might be other parts? She rebukes him fiercely. "If you were not the commander of the believers, I would break your nose, I would slap you on your eyes," all those kind of things. And she goes back to her father in outrage, questions the father why he sent her at the first place. She says, "Well, he's a bad old man." And then father says, "Well, he's gonna be your husband." Yeah. You are gonna marry a man who just violated you. What kind of response is this? Like, seriously? Ali is the fourth caliph, okay? Muhammad's son-in-law. He hears that a man who is in his 50s improperly touched his daughter. And then he says, "Oh, that's okay, my little girl. You are gonna get married to her." Think about it, like, how much he must hate his daughter to say, not like confront Umar for what he did to his daughter. Like, love in Islam that father has for their daughter is like, seriously, disgusting. Someone just violated your daughter and then you are okay with it and then, "Oh, my little daughter, it's fine. You are gonna get married him." Ali is seriously very, very stupid. Not only Ali is stupid, Umar is just messed up. This Islam is just like all messed up. So, here very few questions, just like reading this, okay? A man who is in the power and in the authority, he is in his 50s, having lustful desires towards a child. Who else in 7th century had the same lustful desires towards a child? I'm just asking for a friend, okay? And not only lustful desires, but you see there is unwanted and inappropriate physical contact towards a child. Who else, in 7th century had inappropriate physical contact with a child? Who else? I'm just asking for a friend. And you read this report and you see from young girl's own testimony that she feels she's violated and discussed. Think about it. Don't turn to me and then say, oh, well, this was acceptable. It is cultural in 7th century. No. If it was acceptable and it was cultural standards in 7th century, she wouldn't express that she's violated by what Umar did. She calls Umar bad old man. That's like someone literally crossed the boundaries. You can't ignore the fact Umar is just not any man. Umar is the second rightly guided caliph, and also he is the father-in-law of Muhammad through his daughter Hafsa. You can't ignore that fact. Kulthum, the girl in this report, she is Muhammad's own granddaughter. So if this story is true, we are looking at the second caliph in Islam. The man Muslim calls that rightly guided caliph crossed the boundaries and then placed his hand on Muhammad's own granddaughter's leg. Think about it. The leg is not belong to Umar. It is belong to a child, and Umar's own hand is on the leg of that child. So Muhammad's father-in-law violated Muhammad's own granddaughter. How is this seriously okay? You are kind of forced to ask a question. Where did Umar learn such kind of behavior? Did he learn from Quran? Did he learn from Muhammad? Did he learn from observing Muhammad? Did he learn from the teachings of Islam? I'm just asking for a friend. And overall, I know this is just Islam, but what do we do with this? Umar is simply practicing what he learned from Allah, what he learned from Muhammad, and what he observed from Muhammad. Umar, second caliph, Muhammad's father-in-law, simply violated Muhammad's granddaughter, touched that child improperly. And without shame, Muslim world is reporting this. People go to prison for such a kind of crime in 21st century. Yet, in Islam, you simply get a free pass. And you don't need to be blind. Just open your eyes and you will see very same pattern is being repeated in Muslim world. The same pattern. From Muhammad, what Muhammad did to Aisha, to Umar, what Umar did to Muhammad's own granddaughter. Having lustful desires towards a child, touching that child improperly and unwanted touch. And this is actually what Muslims are doing in Muslim world and outside of the Muslim world towards the kids. As I said, it's not only in Muslim world, this is happening in our world. Just open your eyes and look at Britain. The real question is this the religion you want to follow? You should be the one who is protecting yourself and your kids from this religion.